What is dead space? How to identify it? Once you've identified it, how to work out what to do about it. And I'll show you a real life example of what we've done on a recent job to fix it. Full disclaimer, I'm Josh, a builder, not a designer, here in New Zealand. I'm involved in taking clients' builds from the design process all the way through to code of compliance. So it's fair to say I've seen a number of house designs, and I've seen a number of good designs and a number of bad designs. But I'm passionate about utilizing the space you've got in your renovation or your new build to the maximum capacity that you can. And that bigger is not always better. It's about smart use of the spaces you've got. If you haven't already, go ahead, click subscribe and catch some of the recent videos here. We've been building on the section nobody wanted, we're doing a bunch of subdivisions, and we've also been talking about materials and COVID related delays in the industry right now. Let's rip into it. What is dead space? Again, I'm no architect, but my definition of dead space is anywhere in your home that is a dedicated space that you use for one thing, not that often. Walkways and hallways are a great example of this. You need the hallway to get to where you're going, but for 95% of the time, no one is using the hallway. It's a space where you can't do something else. You can't have a couch in your hallway because then you can't use the hallway to walk somewhere. So another great example of this is doorways. Where the doorway is, the swing of the door is a dedicated space that will only ever be used for the swinging of the door. But think about sliding doors, big full height glass ones. One of the things we see a lot in new builds right now is these floor to ceiling windows and all these sliding doors everywhere. And that's great, it's a cool look, but it also means that you can't use that wall or that floor space for anything other than walking through that door. So in my mind, that's a dead space. It's okay to have dead space. You have to have an entranceway. You have to have a hallway. You have to have some of these spaces, no matter what. But the key to a good design is working out how to eliminate those spaces to the minimum amount required. Or another way that I've approached it on some of my builds is working out a way to double up those spaces. For example, on the way to the back door, have a laundry bench there, like we did on the section nobody wanted. On the way to the back door, we put an extra 600 mils on the hallway so that we could put the laundry bench, and we were doubling up. We had a back door, a laundry, and a hallway all in one. Once you've worked out what dead space is, how do you identify where it is on your floor plan? And I think there's two parts to this. You could have an existing house that's already built, and you could be doing a new build design. And I've done both. On the 1000 hour reno video, one of the things we did is we talked about eliminating doorways, and we turned a 3-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom house. One of the things we do here with our new builds is when the plans are just a piece of paper is the best time to work out dead space, but it's also the hardest time. It's so hard to visualize, like, what's this room gonna feel like, and where is everything going to go? Let's talk about that in two parts. The reno side, if you've got an existing house and you want to fix some dead space. First thing I do is just stand back and observe, like, where do you spend the most time in your house? Or say when you have friends and family over, where does everyone gravitate to? And that becomes like the red hot zone of your house. It could be the dining room table or the breakfast bar or the kitchen sink or the lounge couch. Where is that zone where everyone just seems to hover to? So that's your red hot zone. And then think about in the opposite, the blue cold zones. Where are the parts of your house that you spend the least time? Where do you go less than once a day or even once a week? Get a floor plan of your house and start mapping those things out. Circle the red hot zones, color in the blue zones. Think about spaces, and you've got to be at one. You know, you've got to be like Buddha with your space. I would then hone in on those blue zones, and I was looking at it as like a problem to solve. Are they blue zones because of a physical limitation, or just because of furniture we have or the way we're living? Can I tweak something about those blue zones before I commit to a renovation? Kind of have a play around with that. So doing it in a new build is very similar. The hard thing about a new build is you can't stand in the space. So what you've got to do is you've got to find a way to trick your mind into visualizing that. Now there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can either go and visit other new builds or other homes, and you can measure out rooms, and you can be like, oh, this room is 4 meters by 3 meters and the door's over there, and that's very similar to this piece of paper. All you need is shut your eyes, and you need to kind of like visualize in your mind's eye, so I'm standing there and I'm doing this and I'm going there. Kind of think about your furniture. You could push back on your designer and you could ask for a 3D walkthrough if you really want, and just turning those plans from 2D flat to 3D and having a kind of like a walk around is really helpful, but bearing in mind that will cost more money with your designer, but it could be the best bang for buck investment you spend on your design before you commit to a certain layout. I know that that's what one of our clients, Jeff, did on his home, and it really helped him lock in his floor plan the way he wanted. And he's wrapped with it, as you can see here.
You're dedicated, committed, efficient local builder. You'll get your house built on time, on budget.
In the dream location.
At a substantial discount if you're a subscriber.
Right here we have a floor plan of a client that I'm currently working with. We're subdividing their section and building a brand new house in the backyard. First thing we should kind of note is that these design changes, although they are just a stroke of the pen on a piece of paper, they do require a ton of thought from myself, from the designer, and also from the client. Like that, there's a number of discussions that need to go on, and we all need to talk about it, that we need to then go away and think about it. Although in this video it'll look like it's a 5-minute process, this is the kind of thing you need to dedicate some thinking space to and have a couple of swipes at. The first problem we solved with our client was, where is the house going to go? And the designers kind of worked out the boundaries and the setbacks and all of those things, and then we had an area where we could build the house. And so that's the first thing. All of our jobs, we design the house to suit your site. But once we've got the site locked in and the floor print, it's then about tweaking or massaging it to make it work the best way possible. I looked at this floor plan a couple of times and felt that it wasn't that great. Why did I not think it was that great? Because I felt like there was a lot of dead space that was being underutilized. The floor area was large, but when you started thinking about using each zone, it felt like you were really restricted. So the first thing we did is, you've got these sliding doors up here, and you got 2 big doors, and the whole wall is essentially glass, which is really cool, but that also means that you can't have anything in any of this space here, because you're going to have to slide those doors from there and those doors from there, so no space there. Next thing is, you're going to have to get to those doors. This is always going to be a dedicated walkway space. You then got these glass windows, full height windows here and here. So again, you can't put anything in front of these windows. You can't put a couch there. You can't put a bookshelf or a TV unit or anything. You've then got another walkway space here. You can't use that space for anything there other than a chair, doorway there, walkway there. We've got this walkway here, and we've got this walkway here. We then have this entranceway walkway here, and also the rest of that entranceway. So there's 2 common themes going on here. There's walkways and there's glass, and both of those things are killing the space. Now that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have glass and we shouldn't have walkways, but if we can use that a little bit differently, we come out with a better result. So what do we do about it? The first thing I did is I went and showed this picture to the clients, and I said, hey, how in love with your floor plan are you? Because it could be slightly better if you want. And the key there is that if they want, like if this was their dream floor plan and they weren't open to advice, then there's no point even trying to change it. Like just let them build it the way they want it. But they were open to advice. They had also been struggling with what to do about it. So we then took this picture and had a Zoom call with our designer.
So let's just make this 3 meters that way, which isn't really huge. So we should probably just consider if that's the right size for that, but we'll come back to that soon. Let's just get the overall proportions right now.
You could actually tuck that washer dryer under the sink more, I reckon. Under the stairs, sorry.
I agree.
I think a big thing for them as well was the cupboard for like the mops and stuff.
Yeah. You could actually still fit a cupboard in here.
Yeah, so you could have like a broom cupboard and your laundry nook under the stairs.
Yeah, correct. See, look how much space is there already. Just doing it that way.
It already feels way better, eh?
Yeah.
What do you think that entranceway to the media room is natural?
I think we could probably tweak it.
The cool thing about that is you've changed that two sliders into one slider, but given them more wall space as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll be more spectacular having one big slider as well. That's heaps bigger. I mean, in fact, it's actually so much bigger now, you could probably just pull the whole thing back in.
So you save that space.
Yeah, actually, that's not stupid. We could come back half a meter and just cut that space back out if you want to.
Long story short, we worked with a designer. We all agreed it could be better. We did a bit of work on it, and in the end, we came up with this here. This whole thing came about because the clients really wanted a fireplace, and there was no room on the floor plan to put the fire. And I was sitting there one night thinking about it, and I was like, they're doing 190 square meter build, and I was thinking about how many square meters there are downstairs, and then I was thinking about that in relation to some of the other builds I've seen, and I was like, I feel like there should be enough space for a fireplace. So what can we change on the floor plan to get the fireplace in there? Yeah, we got the fireplace in there. We got the stairwell working with the entranceway and the living area better. And we've created, in everyone's opinion, in the client's opinion, in my opinion, and the designer's opinion, we've created a more cohesive space that is going to create a beautiful home that the clients will love living in. We haven't increased the footprint of the build. Anyone can build bigger, anyone can spend more money, but how do you do more with less? I think that's the best question to be asking.